some people calling for more than a peaceful protest. What do you think that will achieve? If you come and riot, if people come and riot, what's that going to achieve? You're all getting locked up. More than anything, they want to cause division, divide numbers, get people not to come. This is a moment to send a message to the entire world that Britain is awake. We're mainstream. There is no political party that puts those numbers on the streets. There is no movement that has ever done that before. I'm going to make the appeal to all of them, from Kemi Ben-Enoch to Nigel Farage to Rupert Lowe to Ben Habib. Come and speak, guys. Yeah, come and speak. Hopefully, Ben Habib, Rupert Lowe, Nigel Farage are all sitting around one table to work what's best for Great Britain. Without Rupert Lowe's party polling at 9% now, Nigel Farage wouldn't be going harder on all the policies he's going harder on. He just wouldn't, because he went soft as shit. He went really soft. He's now having to try and pull back. I joined Advance so that there was pressure to put on Nigel.
At first glance, this might look like just another political gathering, but look closer, and it starts to feel like something far more consequential. When Tommy Robinson puts forward an event like Unite the Kingdom, it's not simply about bringing people together in a physical space. It's about shaping a narrative one that taps into frustration, identity, and a growing sense among some that their voices aren't being heard. And in today's political climate, perception can be just as powerful as reality.
Unbelievable front as a leader, and actually as a human being too. To hate your country and to hate its people so much that you oversee an invasion that puts our safety under threat every day, and an Islamist takeover which undermines our Christian heritage forever, and then choose to deride the patriots who are fighting back. But that's what slippery Starmer, who is on his way out of Downing Street with his wife and children already having moved out after this marriage crisis that the MSM are covering up, that is exactly what Keir Starmer did today, as he posted St. George's flag stands for unity over hatred and decency over division. Those are the values I will always fight for. Some try to hijack our flag to spread hate. I reject their plastic patriotism. Funny that, given he used his St. George's Day address to spread hate against us.
Is both here and abroad who would seek to divide us, who want to set us apart from each other, who want to pretend that in this country what we really do is to distinguish between people, to find the points of difference, to have the sort of toxic culture of hatred between different individuals, different groups, different communities. We will not let them do this. We reject their division completely, and we will fly our flag proudly. It's our flag, it belongs to us, and we will fly it for the values that we believe in.
Oh, well, guess what? That cretin who claims to be so proud of the English flag did not mention England or the English once in his formal published address for St. George's Day. So I repeat, he hates us. He hates us because he is allowing our streets to become plagued with illegals who want to rape our daughters and wives.
A leafy Surrey village is at war with the Home Office after migrants were moved into a £500,000 cottage just weeks before one was arrested for allegedly harassing schoolgirls. Asylum seekers were placed in a taxpayer-funded house in multiple occupation just 200 yards from a primary school in Laleham. The move is part of the government's drive to close down migrant hotels, but it has sparked a spat between the Home Office and the local council. Spelthorne Borough Council claims it was not told about the introduction of asylum housing in the 2,500-person Riverside hamlet, which is featured in the Doomsday Book. Only weeks after the migrants were moved in, we can reveal how one resident was handcuffed at the gates of the HMO after acting suspiciously outside a local primary school. The Afghan national was arrested on suspicion of harassment last Thursday afternoon. He was later held under the Mental Health Act when concerned parents raised the alarm. The man, in his 20s, has since been moved out of the area and is at a secure facility awaiting assessment. But the introduction of migrants to a £500,000 cottage has triggered serious concerns among local parents following the incident.
And it's in this context that slippery Starmer's deep state are now plotting to shut down and ban Tommy Robinson's Unite the Kingdom rally next month, using a potential breakaway group suggesting a 3-day more forceful approach to pressure the organisers. Now, a lot of these negotiations were sparked with police after this viral video of X-Rays the Colours organiser and Tommy's close friend Danny Tomo went viral.
I also need to make one thing extremely clear, because I think some are still in very much in doubt about what is going to be happening on the 16th of May. I do not speak for everyone, but I speak for myself and many that follow me. We are not coming to London to wave flags. We are not coming to London to walk down roads. We are coming to London for 3 days to defend our country, our children, our families, our heritage, and the future of this country. We don't care about the moaners. We don't care about the left. We don't care about the infighting, who thinks they're right and who thinks they're wrong. We know what needs to be done. And they have pushed us to this. So make no mistake. On the 16th of May, things change. That's the fact of it. Accept it. Be involved in it. The closer you do, the quicker this ends.
Okay, so there'd been a little bit of back and forth between myself and Danny Tomo after I played that video on the show. He accused me of trying to create a bit of drama. I absolutely wasn't doing that. I was reporting the fact, which is that there is this push for a breakaway movement, and Tommy is opposed to it. By the way, I had also invited Danny on the show because I really respected the work that he had done in Epsom, where the police are quite clearly covering up details of this alleged migrant gang rape. Well, last night, Tommy actually sat down with Danny for a live YouTube broadcast where they both had it out. Obviously, they're friends, and it was very respectable in terms of why UTK must remain a one-day family event. And it's because Slippery Starmer and the failed London Islamist Mayor Sadiq Khan are now looking for any opportunity to pounce.
There were calls for a 3-day demonstration that were put out there. There was some more, maybe I'd describe as aggressive messaging that was going out from different people at different times. I want people to understand that in our negotiations with the police for this event, the council have stonewalled us the whole time, okay? Now, fortunately, when it's your videos, Danny, I'll be honest, the police gave us the police in our negotiations with the police, they were worried, yeah? But that actually worked and gave us a position of negotiations with the police, where what I've been trying to say to the police is, listen, officers, and these are negotiations that we just wouldn't have had, yeah? Because the council have been stonewalling us, blanking us, not giving us permission to set up or giving us permits to set up speakers, stages, anything, yeah? Now, in our negotiations with the police, what I've been stressing to them is ignore any messaging from people, because we hope to sit down with those people and get everyone singing off the same hymn sheet, which we will hopefully convince people to do if you, the police, overrule the council.
And Tommy made it clear that any type of violence will result in long-term jail sentences for patriots, because effectively the deep state want an opportunity to win.
Some people calling for more than a peaceful protest. What do you think that will achieve? If you come and riot, if people come and riot, what's that going to achieve? You're all getting locked up. You're all getting locked up.
That's not what I was calling for. Just,
I know you weren't, Danny. I know you weren't. The reason I'm saying this is there's a sway of people who don't like us, yeah, who don't want us to succeed, who are attacking us for having peaceful protest, having music, having all these things, yeah? And I understand people's frustration. I get the frustration. I get the anger, yeah? What I'd say is, 2 years ago when we sat down and spoke about a cultural movement, to be where we're at now, we're about to put millions on the streets again, yeah? We've shifted a lot. Mood has shifted a lot. And it's part of a spiritual awakening.
It is. And I have huge respect for Tommy in terms of what he did there. I also have a lot of respect for what Danny Tomo does too. But I think Tommy was making it absolutely clear. Look, there are reasons we can't do this 3-day event. There are reasons why we need to be focused on a family event, because the deep state are out to get us. And that is, of course, because there is such a political angle to unite the kingdom this year. And it is all about seeing a mass demand for a general election.
The election is a week before. Keir Starmer's under pressure now. I think Labour are going to get trounced. We're going to pretend that people demand an election, descend on our capital, but have a great day. Yeah, have a great day, because although people may not see that it's brought about change, it has, and it is. The momentum and the political parties are riding the waves of this nationalism and patriotism. And on May 16th, it's just going to be another step forward again.
And in fairness to Danny Tomo, he was then very clear that he is not advocating for violence either.
So I need to be careful, because the last thing that needs to happen is any good men or women being sent to prison because of any directions that myself or Tommy have given.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Tommy, of course, is currently in the United States of America, but he revealed that he is returning next week to ensure that the deep state are unable to cancel Unite the Kingdom. By the way, I don't know if you've seen this, but there is even a false flag post from Tommy going around announcing that he has had to cancel UTK. It is a fake, but it shows you the length that the deep state are going to try and undermine this event. And I think they will also try and cause violence at the event too. That's why patriots have to be on guard watch.
The British government think when they look at you over there.
Mate, I know what again, do you know what they'd be worried by me being here, but they'd have been worried by September 13th. When they saw those numbers, they will be worrying now. And do you know what they want more than anything? Which is why I said, more than anything, they want to cause division, divide numbers, get people not to come. So anyone making those comments now, it's like, look, you don't have to support me here. You don't have to agree with everything I say. Yeah, there's momentum with this. The whole country is about to make a stand against a corrupt government who are betraying us on immigration, on culture, on identity, on funding, on everything. They're betraying the farmers, they're betraying the school children, they're betraying the pensioners. They've betrayed all of us. They've betrayed all of us. We are at a pivotal moment in our country's future where what our country looks like, it will never look the same again, because they are destroying it. So this is a moment to send a message to the entire world that Britain is awake.
And the thing is, the UTK movement is bigger than any political party. And that's why it is very significant that Tommy has announced he is inviting the leaders of the Conservative Party, Reform UK, Restore Britain, and Advance UK to speak.
We're not alone. We're mainstream. There is no political party that puts those numbers on the streets. There is no movement that has ever done that before. This is the movement for the people, which is why I'm going to make the appeal to all of them, from Kemi Badenoch to Nigel Farage to Rupert Lowe to Ben Habib. Come and speak, guys. Yeah, come and speak. The public are there for the country. Yeah, you're all fighting the same fight. Now, I hope. Who knows where we're at in 3 years? Hopefully, Ben Habib, Rupert Lowe, Nigel Farage are all sitting around one table to work what's best for Great Britain.
And what's interesting is that Tommy is convinced that Rupert Lowe and his Restore Britain political party is already making a major difference to the political position of Reform UK and Nigel Farage, who are being forced to move away from their weak source approach.
Without Rupert Lowe's party polling at 9% now, Nigel Farage wouldn't be going harder on all the policies he's going harder on. He just wouldn't, because he went soft as shit. He went really soft. He's now having to try and pull back, yeah? So all of these things, Ben Habib and Advance and any of these parties, I would just be telling people I joined Advance so that there was pressure to put on Nigel Farage. I would be telling people, get politically active.
And I mean, it is without doubt true, because you now have Zia Youssef, the so-called Shadow Home Secretary for Reform UK, suggesting that actually they will deport 600,000 people, or actually potentially even launch a UK version of ICE to try and deport 2 million people. Now, remember, before Restore Britain, Nigel Farage was saying that was a political impossibility. Sadly, though, Reform UK is continuing its MSM-driven narrative, trying to distance itself as far as possible from Tommy Robinson. Just look at Reform UK's Scottish leader, Malcolm Offord.
Political tensions in the UK have been simmering for a while. Debates over national identity, governance, and freedom of expression are already front and center. So when a rally like this emerges now, it lands in an environment primed for conflict. That's what makes the reaction to it so intense. It's not happening in isolation, it's colliding with existing divisions, amplifying them, and pushing them further into the spotlight.
Also tweeted in support of Tommy Robinson. Do you think candidates should be supportive of him?
No, we've been very clear about Tommy Robinson. In fact, Nigel Farage has been very clear that there's no common ground between Tommy Robinson and Reform.
Have you...
Now that is absolutely bizarre to me. Think of what Malcolm Offord is saying there. No common ground. No common ground between Reform UK and Tommy Robinson. Okay, so Reform UK doesn't want to end Pakistani Muslim rape gangs? Seriously, think about your language, Malcolm Offord. At some point, you've got to be brave. And you can't allow the MSM to dishonestly define what Tommy Robinson's UTK movement is about. And I'd argue that Reform UK are doing lots of good stuff. I mean, today, St. George's Day, they announced a new patriotic curriculum policy, for example, where every school will have a portrait of the King, a Union Jack, and a patriotic curriculum that teaches them about empire. Announcing the plans ahead of St. George's Day, Farage's party said every school in England would be required to honour the patron saint's day if it took power. The party said it wanted to end the ideological capture of our classrooms by introducing a new history curriculum to honour our island story with pride. Reform's education spokesman, Suella Braverman, accused previous governments of promoting their mass migration agenda in schools. The party said children were taught to be ashamed of Britain's past and were not taught about its men and women who fought for freedom. It highlighted a survey by Policy Exchange that found only 20% of 18 to 24-year-olds have a positive vision of Winston Churchill. And that's great, okay? That's great. But then I look at what Reform UK actually do. So Malcolm Offord, there's no common ground with Tommy Robinson. And just today, I would argue Nigel Farage has given in to the weak source approach once more by distancing himself publicly from US President Donald Trump and actually finally admitting what I first reported many months ago, their own special relationship is over.
I can't think of a better person to send right at this moment in time than the King. And he'll give the speech in Congress, but of course there'll be private conversations. And I think, the King will understand fully that this isn't just about Donald Trump, nor was it before about Joe Biden. It is about the really important relationship between us and America. And I do think Starmer's done it some damage. I think initially saying you can't use the bases, then you turning 48 hours later, I think that's done some damage to the relationship. So the King, him going is good. Trump has this extraordinary respect for the royal family, for the institution, and I'm sure he'll do much good.
So you're not worried, like some people are, that he might embarrass the King?
No, he just won't do that.
And who invited you?
Oh, several members of Congress. Because you can sit in the gallery, and I'd love to be there because it really is a big historic
Has Donald Trump
occasion.
been in touch ahead of it, asking?
No, I haven't really been in touch with Trump for many months.
And what about the real threat? What about the real threat that we all need to be uniting about and talking about, especially on this St. George's Day? Tommy knows exactly what it is because he says this weird trans-Islamo alliance with Zach Polanski, the tit whisperer, and Mothin Ali, the Islamist Green Party, that's not going to last. And what's coming soon is full-on Islamist parties.
Now, there's a little civil war going on from Labour and the Green Party. Labour thought they could rely on these lot, and they're leaving them. And eventually they'll leave all these left-wing groups because they'll be for Islam and Islam only and Sharia only. But we're in a race against time. This election in 3 years' time, I personally think it's not the end of the world to have 3 years because we need a public who are radicalised to the point where they're going to accept the real change that's needed.
Indeed. And that real change is going to be hard, but is utterly essential. now.
The alleged move to prevent or restrict the rally introduces a serious question. Where is the line between maintaining order and limiting expression? With Keir Starmer being drawn into the narrative, the stakes are raised instantly. Because when government authority intersects with political activism, people begin to scrutinize motives. Is it about avoiding unrest? Or about controlling the message? That ambiguity is what fuels debate and keeps it alive long after the headlines fade.
Lee Harris back with me. Lee, what is abundantly obvious to me is that Slippery Starmer and Sadiq Khan are looking for any excuse to ban Unite the Kingdom, firstly, and if they can't ban it, to make sure that there is some form of violence on the day in order to deride it. So Tommy Robinson, I think, is taking a sensible approach here. Do you?
Absolutely. I didn't disagree with a single word that Tommy said. He's got it. And to be able to pull off what he pulled off last time shows that he's got his head screwed on properly. I mean, I was there, Dan, you were there. I spoke to a lot of people, and that was the culture of the entire day. Everybody I spoke to, no violence. We're here to have fun. Lots of happy, smiley faces, families, children, people from all ethnicities, all backgrounds. And what I was really disappointed in is there was a mistake where the police had led down. I don't know if you remember, behind the stage, there was that road where they led down some lads down the wrong road, and they led them into a wall of police. And it kicked off for about, 15 minutes? And it didn't even kick off a lot. There was about, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 people where they were pushing each other. That was it. And the media were all over it. They made out that there was loads of violence and it was all far right. They will jump on this as quickly as possible. They will make the biggest deal out, even if there's one punch up, they will make sure that is headline news. So Tommy is absolutely right. The feeling of the event last year was fantastic. It was I wanted to bring my daughter. That's how I felt about the event. I kind of wish I had. It was that type of event. It was for everybody. And if it gets ruined by people who and honestly, I'm saying this, but I don't think it will happen. I really don't. Not from the vibes I was getting from the last one. But that's what they want. They want people to kick off and get violent. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if we have groups of people that are trying to kick off. I think that almost tried to happen last time.
Antifa infiltration, government infiltration, and that's why the Patriots have to be very aware of what the government is trying to do. Now, Emma Dunwell, you spend a huge amount of time reporting on the streets, on the ground, around the activists. Do you get that sense of frustration from the likes of Danny Tomo that they want this almost harder approach to UTK?
I really do. I'm in completely two minds when I initially saw the video, because I do see both sides. I've had grown men shoving signs in my faces, screaming obscenities at me, and it completely enrages you. And when it gets to the point where we've got the establishment going after us as well, and we just seem to keep getting tarred with the same brush over and over again, and everyone else just seems to be able to get away with whatever they want, it does become exhausting. And it does get to the point where you are kind of waiting for someone somewhere to snap, and then everyone's just going to go, because it is our docile nature as British people that we kind of, we keep calm and carry on. That is one of the things it is to be British. But I do think that it's so important to keep ourselves poised and keep ourselves driven and directed. So I do think that Tommy was completely right. We need a very specific approach here. It needs to be like last year. We need to have no problems. I think there was a few things that happened last year, but from what I can remember, it was on the very outskirts of the protest where other protesters were able to then kind of goad
because
people.
You had those stand-up to racism, hard lefters, and the police had brought them too close together. But honestly, compared to any other major event, the arrest number was tiny.
Compared to the number of people that were in attendance, let's think about the numbers that were there.
I mean, look at the Notting Hill Carnival, where there are stabbings and deaths and murders and literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of arrests. But this is the problem. Tommy Robinson does not fight on an equal basis at all. Lee, what do you make of his invitation to all of the right-wing party leaders? For example, last year, only Ben Habib of Advance UK spoke. Would it be a good idea for Kemi Badenoch, Rupert Lowe and Nigel Farage to take to that stage? I mean, I say absolutely. We know that Farage won't do it. We know that Badenoch won't do it. But isn't this a great opportunity for the Restore Britain leader?
Yeah, I don't think they'll do it. I mean, Rupert didn't come to the last one either. Maybe he will come to this one. And what I think of Tommy doing it, I think it's fantastic. I think Tommy's doing exactly the right thing. And I like the stance he's taking, this kind of apolitical stance, where he really wants to emphasise that this is for everybody. And his words were, these aren't people that are following me. These are people that are, voting for you, as in talking directly to these political leaders. I don't think they'll come. Maybe that is the right decision or the wrong decision. I'm not sure. I just really hope that they do, because I think it would really unite the kingdom. I think that would send a very strong message.
Emma, I know that there are some discussions behind the scenes at Restore Britain. That seems the most likely one for me. I mean, I imagine Ben Habib will speak again because he absolutely brought the house down last year. There's obviously no chance Farage is going to be there, no chance Badenoch is going to be there, but I think Rupert Lowe could be.
I think it's a possibility that Rupert could go, but then also, like Lee said, it's a bit of a coin toss. I do think that, again, just to kind of echo what Lee said, kind of like Tommy, I'm feeling very much politically homeless in terms of an exact specific party at the moment myself. So I think this is something that it appeals to everyone, which is fantastic. And it's what people want to see more of. How many times have people said, even just hypothetically, oh, wouldn't it be great if everyone on the right-wing parties that has a bit of sense actually got together and made just one great party? And I think that it's invitations like this, whether they are taken or not, that are going to start having that conversation, because it is on such a big stage now. Like Tommy said in the video, this is not a small movement. They are mainstream now, and they've done that brilliantly well. So I don't know. I think there even might be a small possibility that Badenoch could surprise everyone and turn up. I mean, she's really been hard-hitting lately,
It would be the best thing she has ever done. Seriously. By the way, whatever happens, you will be able to watch it all here on Outspoken during our special coverage of May the 16th.